Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, there is a way to handle a bad situation, but yeah, this way, it's definitely the wrong way. So a video was shared on TikTok by Hey It's Crystal 2. You can, I'll leave a link down below. You can go check out her channel. But they were getting ready to go on a very, very popular excursion. And that is to go to the Blue Lagoon, right? It's I think it's about a 30-minute ferry ride across the water. It's about a 3-mile trek. There you can swim with the sea lions, you can go snorkeling with stingrays, you can swim with the dolphins, there's beach areas, there's a whole bunch of stuff on that area to do. But in order to go there, you need to purchase, a shore excursion. And on this shore excursion, they give you a wristband. The wristband is your ID saying that you've paid and your entire party is paid, and you can get on, onto the ferry and head over and then head on the way back. Well, it appears that one lady, it looks like a party of 3 were traveling, maybe 4 with the son that's there, and there was no wristband. She didn't have a wristband on, but she was adamant that she had paid for it. Well, there's a couple things here. The ferry boat people said, well, sorry, you don't have your wristband. You can't get on the ferry, you have to leave. And she was having none of that. She was not leaving at all. She was staying her ground. I paid for it, I'm not leaving, and she just stuck to her guns. Now, keep in mind, the people who were waiting to get on this ferry were standing in line and waiting almost an hour in the hot sun already in the Bahamas to get on this ferry boat. And finally, when they get on the ferry boat, now all this drama starts to happen, where the security and the cruise line were trying to get this lady, sorry, will you step off please, and we'll fix this and we'll discuss this over here. And she wouldn't leave. So all these people on the ferry now also had all of their trip completely interrupted. So if you had a time to get to the Blue Lagoon to, say, swim with the dolphins with your family, and you paid like $250 a person to go do that, and now this lady is holding everybody up because she doesn't have a wristband and won't get off the boat to settle it on her own. And at one point, it took over an hour and a half, apparently, for this to get settled. And how did it get settled? Well, they ended up calling a female police officer and another police officer. And after much discussion, the female officer just dragged her out of the seat. And then they carried her up the stairs very awkwardly. As you can see, this is a heavier woman. It's not a thin 98-pound woman. She's lucky that they just didn't throw her to the ground and throw handcuffs on her and then drag her butt off the cruise ship. Now, here's the two situations. One, and what's really disgusting to me in this whole situation is you can see her son trying to get her to get off the boat and stop causing this commotion. And he just breaks down in tears at one point. Just breaks down in tears. This is not, helping do anything and for your son. He would be embarrassed to go anywhere with you in the future in case something like this happens. This really shouldn't be. That should be your number one priority. Not making a point, not standing up for your rights. Look after your family. Look after your son. But after finally getting her off and everything like that, we don't know yet if she actually had a ticket and she lost her wristband, but apparently nobody in her party had a wristband either. So did they all just forget the wristband? Did they all forget to go get the wristband? Did they actually pay for it? Now, if they paid for it, they could have gone on the Carnival Hub and just brought up their receipts and look, here it is, I've paid for it. That probably would have settled everything, but they didn't do that. They just insisted that they had this. Now, did they have a phone plan that they could have done this? Maybe not. Maybe they were afraid of roaming charges. But either way, none of this was the way to handle the situation. So now she's facing a couple possibilities. One, she could be, if she tried to sneak on and they prove that she'd never purchased any of the shore excursions, she can now be banned for life from Carnival, and her entire party will be banned for life from Carnival. She could also face a $500 fine for breaking the rules, code of conduct rules that Carnival has on board, a minimum $500 fine. All this for a $94 excursion, roughly, say $100 excursion to the Blue Lagoon. Now, what if she's in the right? What if the wristband accidentally fell off, or they forgot to give her a wristband? Is she in the right to do this now? No. First of all, you don't have proof that you did it. You can't show proof you did it. So you have to settle this after the fact. Second of all, when police officers are called and they tell you you have to get off the boat, you get off the boat. Because nothing good can come from arguing. Nothing good ever comes from arguing with the police in a foreign country. Let alone our countries, right? Like, you're not going to win those arguments. If they tell you to leave, you gotta leave. It's as simple as that. You can argue the fact afterwards, and you can make complaints afterwards. But at that moment in time, the best thing to do is just get up and then try and go settle it yourself. Unless you know you're in the wrong. If you know you're in the wrong, then getting up and going off is just admitting that you're wrong because you've got no alternative. You can't go complain to anybody because you didn't purchase the tickets. You didn't lose your wristband. You didn't do anything. But either way, arguing, having them have to carry you off, are you not embarrassed? Are you not ashamed? Like, I would be mortified if that ever happened to me. There would have been Mr. dterris, we need you to get off the boat. Yes, sir. Simple as that. There's no reason to argue. There's no, I don't have two legs to stand on, right? You see how many people get hauled off of airplanes sometimes when they've caused a disturbance, and even if they're in the right, you settle that after, because nothing good comes of being dragged off of anything. And maybe she thought they were just gonna, oh, we don't want to cause a fuss, let's let everybody go. But instead, like an hour and a half to 2 hours delay for everybody else on that boat had to be carried off, facing lifetime bans, facing everything. And even if she had her tickets and there was a mistake happened, the best she could hope for is getting her money back and maybe a future cruise credit. But she could have got that just by getting off the boat. Just by getting off the boat, going back to the shore excursion desk and saying, hey, I had my tickets, they didn't give me a wristband, I paid for everything, you see that I paid for it, I want compensation and I need something because we just ruined our entire day going to the Blue Lagoon because they didn't do their job properly. Bam! Carnival would have been bending over to give you stuff. But no, now Carnival's looking at you and wondering, do we ever want this guest on board again? And you know what I'm thinking the answer is going to be? I'm thinking it's going to be no. What do you guys think? Do you think this was absolutely the wrong way to handle things? I do. It's a no-win situation. It's a no-win situation. I don't get it. I don't get it. You can, like, I can make a case after the fact, and I could raise a stink after the fact, but I'm going to do it in a polite manner. And I'm going to do it in a business-like manner. I'm going to do it in a professional manner. Standing there and having somebody drag my butt off of this boat in public like this while everyone's filming, definitely not the way to ever handle this kind of situation. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. And remember, if they tell you you have to leave, argue it after, because otherwise you're going to be on my channel next.